Hey everybody, what's up? I'm Stephanie. I am on a giant weight loss journey. I have been on a weight loss journey for what feels like my whole entire life. I've had different amounts of successes. I've lost some weight. I've gained lots of weight. Over the course of even just having this YouTube channel, I've lost and gained quite a bit of weight, and I've had 2 babies since I started my channel, so I have 3 kids total. And you know what? It's all kind of led to me going forward with the decision to have weight loss surgery. So this update is just another step towards that. Last week I had my psychological evaluation, and I just wanted to share how that went. Plus, I've tweaked my diet and I'm feeling amazing. I'm feeling awesome. I actually feel pretty similar to the way that I felt like 5 years ago when I started this channel and I was eating a high-fat, low-carb diet. That's actually what motivated me to start this channel, is because I felt like once I started eating that way, like my brain turned back on, I felt more energy, I felt more motivated, I just felt better than I had felt in many, many years. And that is saying a lot, because I also have Hashimoto's thyroiditis, which I've talked about like a billion times on here. But once you experience thyroid autoimmune level fatigue, it's very different from just like, oh, I didn't sleep very well at night. And I feel like I've been in thyroid fatigue for at least 2 years since I had my youngest. And so doing a diet that made me feel like crap, like all that protein. Okay, sorry, lots of distractions. I don't know where I was at because I totally got distracted, lost my train of thought. Anyway, the low carb diet that I have been talking about doing was very heavy on protein. I wasn't really focusing on fats. I was having days where I would eat that way and then like cheat or whatever, have too many carbs. I don't call that like a cheat, but basically I would eat, good for a few days, and I'd have a couple rough days, and I'd have some good days, some rough days. And my energy when I was eating the right way, the super low carb way with all that protein, I felt like crap. So I wasn't very motivated to eat that way. And I've talked about that here. That was my last video, was like, I don't know if I can do this. I feel like crap. I feel like crap. I can't function. I have 3 kids. I can't do this. I don't know if I can do this. Like, what am I going to do? How am I going to go have weight loss surgery and sustain this way of eating? I don't know if this is the right next step for me. Well, isn't it interesting that I had also started praying like very, very hard about a month ago to find a solution for me. And within a couple of weeks, I actually found the patient handbook, 30 pages, patient handbook from my weight loss surgeon. Well, wouldn't you know that I had missed a few really important details? I had gone to my appointments. I had the little slip of paper with like the basics. I had printed off a few things with like the basics of what to eat. But in this handbook, he goes into like so much more detail. And between all of the voices in my head, all of the YouTube videos that I've watched, all of the people that I follow on Instagram, I really believe that I had just mixed all the information together. It was blended all together, and I was missing a few things that are different about his way of eating compared to how I was eating. I think I just took a lot of information and thought that I was eating the way that I should be, and guess what? I wasn't. So the good news is that there is still hope for me to feel awesome. So I talked about when I started this channel, I was eating very high fat, low carb. I was eating like a lot of grass-fed beef, a lot of coconut oil. Well, in the patient handbook, it specifies to focus on a higher fat, healthy fat diet. Keep your protein to around 50 to 60 grams. And I'm like, oh, I was like tripling that. I was shooting for 150 grams of protein a day. And I was actually trying to limit my fat because in my mind, I had watched enough videos that it's important to be in a calorie deficit. And if you want your body to use your body fat, you shouldn't be eating a bunch of fats. And you know what? There's a lot of really good information out there, but the science of losing weight is so complicated that like little old me might hear something and try to implement it. And I'm sure that this has happened to you. Somebody on the internet regurgitates some information, but they're sharing some information that they have learned maybe through another YouTuber, maybe through a book, maybe through a Facebook group. I don't know how they get their information. Then they share it, and then this information gets shared, but sometimes the fine details get lost. And I think that that's what was happening to me, is that I was kind of generalizing some ideas like, okay, I have to be in a calorie deficit and I can't eat too much fat and I have to eat a crap ton of protein. Oh, and I can't have carbs. All that information got me kind of confused and not doing things the right way. And because I'm not a doctor and I don't totally understand all the science, that totally made sense to me. But as I read through the patient handbook, the takeaways are that my habits are really important. That I'm trying to change my brain and change the pathways. And once I have that surgery, the whole point is to rewire my brain and to create new pathways. And that's going to happen through habits. So although it is important for me to eat a ketogenic diet, it's as important that I'm meditating every day, that I'm drinking lots and lots of water every day, that I am chewing my food very slowly until it's the consistency of applesauce, and then putting my fork down and waiting 1 minute. I hadn't been doing that. In regards to the specifics of my diet, I was making it too complicated. And in the podcast that my doctor does, it's called Brain Over Belly. I don't remember. Crap. You can search for it. It's Dr. Brown at Idaho BMI. I think it's Brain Over Belly. The specifics of the diet are to avoid all artificial sweeteners. Was not doing that. Still not 100% on that. I gotta have some liquid stevia in my Greek yogurt. It says to avoid flours like coconut flour, almond flour, because those are gateway foods to create those hyperpalatable foods that we want to eat and eat and eat, rather than finding ways to cope with our emotions. Interesting. So you're telling me that I should stop using the almond flour for things like a chaffle, which I don't make very often, but sometimes I do. I shouldn't be using almond flour to make keto tortilla chips to have with some guacamole. Okay, got it. Okay, check. I don't really do a whole lot of keto desserts because I find that they're all disgusting, and there's something about the taste of erythritol that makes me want to gag. I feel like I'm eating like a stick of gum anytime I have anything with erythritol. So the keto sweets are not, I would rather just like have the real thing. I don't really like the keto treats, but I have been trying to, use some substitutes in my diet. So I realized I need to stop that. So that wasn't that hard to change. But I was eating way too much protein, not enough fats. So I've shifted gears to where I'm eating a lot more fats. I'm focusing on bone-in, skin-on chicken when I have it. I'm having some more bacon. I ordered a butcher box of like really high quality meats. And then I also found out that we have a local farmer who sells his meats. I mean, every kind of meat you could imagine. Like all the organ meats, all the parts of the meat that like I would never buy myself, but I know that I can get really high quality, locally grown meats down the road, which is awesome. So I'm kind of exploring that route. I switched to having my produce delivered in a Misfits Market box, which is awesome because I'm getting all this really delicious organic produce, and it's forcing me to focus on the vegetables. So what I'm doing right now is those high fats. I'm having fish, I'm having olive oil, I'm using my grass-fed butter, my Kerrygold. I'm having my Brussels sprouts with some butter and seasonings with a couple strips of bacon. That is like one of my very favorite breakfasts. I'm still having my homemade Greek yogurt with some stevia. And then my dinners are like a really good high quality piece of meat, whether it's some grass-fed beef, a chicken thigh, a pork chop. I found some really good recipes just going through YouTube mashups of TikToks. Like, oh my gosh, if I didn't already have like very giant fears and objections to social media, I probably would get my own TikTok account just for those recipes, but I'm not going there. That's a whole other topic. But I'm feeling really good. If I want a giant salad, I'll have, the highest quality of greens, which is what my surgeon said to do. Anything with the leaf I can eat, focusing on those above ground vegetables. And I've been doing that, and then I've been binge watching like Dr. Barry, which I've seen him on YouTube. I've watched his videos, but I'm like really taking it to heart. And I'm watching those YouTube lives, or the Facebook lives. I'm watching the replays from, I don't know when they do them, or I think they're on Mondays, but I've been watching the replays, and a lot of people have kind of the same questions that I have. And so I'm filling my mind with the people who are in that lane, like basically a meat, fats, some vegetable diet. By the way, why do people call vegetables veg? Okay, I've heard Canadian YouTubers say veg, but even Dr. Barry, and I've noticed lots of other people, when they're talking about vegetables, they say veg. So focus on your meats, and if you want some veg. Is that like a common nickname for vegetables? Okay, side note, I hate, these are a few words that I hate, and I don't use them. I don't really like the word veggies, your fruits and veggies. I don't like that word. I hate the word kiddos. I don't like the word littles. Like when people are talking about kids, I'm like, they're my kids. They're my children. They're not kiddos, and they're not littles. I hate the word hubby. I do not refer to my husband as the word hubby. If you use those words, it's fine. We're still friends. But there's just like a few things that are like nails on the chalkboard. Actually, the word keto is like a nails on the chalkboard word for me. There's so many words that just, I don't know, maybe I'm too emotional. Well, that's not in question. I am too emotional. Anyway, okay, so veg. Why do people say veg? Can we just call them vegetables? I'm even okay with veggies, but veg, I don't know. I think it's weird. Let me know what you think. Okay, so focusing on that for my diet, getting those habits, the deep breathing, the meditation, working on my brain, going out. And one thing that I talked about in my psychological appointment was doing the self-care, because I have a lot on my plate. I cannot pour from an empty vessel. And the self-care, I think, again, I've overcomplicated. I'm like, well, I don't have time to like leave the house. I don't have a sitter. I don't have this. I can't go into the mountains. I can't go mountain biking. I can't blah, blah, blah. And so I've been focusing on all the things that I can't do, but I want to do. And one thing that's really helped me is changing that mindset to, okay, I can't do those things now. What can I do? And typically I'm a pretty positive person. I'm like, the glass is half full, not half empty sort of mentality. Okay, I'm going to have to wrap this up. I've got little kids over here. Their show is on so loud. It's like so upsetting to me. Did you know? Okay, I have ADD, like legitimate diagnosed ADD. I take medication for it. I have learned so much about the ADD brain, aside from being so easily distractible. I am so hypersensitive to sounds. And it's not all sounds, but like the sound of my daughter's TV show, because it's up loud, it literally, like I can feel my heart rate like rising because I don't want to hear it. It's distracting me. Like little sounds like that it's an ADD thing. Sometimes my husband will just like touch my arm and I am like backhanding him And he's like, whoa. And I'm like, I like you, but like that kind of like a touch, like I know that you're trying to be nice, but like I am so sensitive sometimes, and it changes throughout the month. Anyway, if you have a condition, I am just like such an advocate for learning as much as you can, because nobody told me that in my doctor's appointments. This is all information that I've had to seek out and podcasts that I've had to listen to. And I'm like, well, it totally makes sense why sometimes, like, my husband sometimes will, like, you know, scratch my back or something, and I'm like, I can't. And he thinks I like hate his guts, and I'm like, it's like worse than a tickle. I can't be touched like that. But when we were dating, it was like, oh, touch me more, don't stop. You know, but like for some reason when I get so overstimulated, like the sound of this show, like honestly, I'm gonna have to go like shut it off, because it is. I actually got to wrap up this video because it's like irritating me so bad. Hi, thank you, ADD. Thank you for the overstimulation. It comes with this disease that I wish I would have known that I had so many years ago. Oh my gosh, my life would have been so much different with Ritalin in graduate school. Oh my gosh, I should make a video one day about all of the wrong diagnoses that I've had, the medications that doctors prescribed me, Lamictal. We talked about that. This is all relevant because we talked about this in my psychological appointment. That appointment was so validating. It validated just so many things, you know, a history of trauma, hormonal problems, taking the wrong medications, like Lamictal, which is like a well-known weight gainer that will pack on the pounds. I have the autoimmune disease. We talked about obesity, to where it's like the fatter you get, literally the harder it is to lose weight. The hormonal crap that's going on in your body, it gets harder and harder and harder. So anyway, as you can tell, there's some parental responsibilities I'm neglecting. The psychology appointment went great. Now I'm just waiting to check in with my doctor to find out how many more visits I need. So we're getting close. I still don't have a date, which I'm fine with. I'm still working on all these habits. I'm feeling great. I'm finally feeling energized. I went for a walk today. I'm staying on top of things. This is why my YouTube channel basically just like disappeared. This is my life. This is regular old life. So thank you for watching. I'll keep you guys posted on, I don't know, the progress, things moving forward. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Love you all. Subscribe if you're new. And if you like this kind of video and a crazy lady talking about all of her first world problems, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye!